TKHOK is back. The name TKHOK. Why did I choose it? I like the name, the know how of knowledge, but I knew that it doesn't really roll off the tongue, so I chose the name TKHOK. Right? I like that. I like that. But we are back. We are live. A little later than planned. What day is it today? Today's a Monday. Um, so for you, the guys that are waiting for this, thank you for coming back. Today we are having a conversation about free will. Do we really get to decide what we believe in? Do you get to decide what you believe in? Or is what you believe in based upon where you've been raised? So that is the question. Do you really have free will? I have put a poll right here for you guys watching this who are not live. I put polls whenever I go live, so I will tell you the responses, but you can't see it because I've just gone live now, and you can't really show comments and polls after you've gone live. It just keeps the likes. Um, and one thing I found is the views I get are not from lives, they're only from you guys watching. And 40% of you guys are actually subscribed to me. So the majority of viewers are not subscribed. So please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 followers by December, by Christmas at least. So please help get me to 100 subscribers. We currently have 74 subscribers as of December 1st. If we can get one new subscriber every day until Christmas, we can get to 100 followers. So please subscribe. Absolutely, we have free will. Do you really believe that? I have SKK saying yes, we have free will. I have Farm164-67 saying hi. I have Jivala Jivala Bus Change 5691 saying why wouldn't we have free will? I have Farm164 saying what's up? Farm164 saying I love your content and thank you for watching. And please subscribe. I'm going to be going live. This is day number 9 of me going live. So please subscribe. Say hi. I'm saying hi to you, Farm164-67. Thank you. Do we really have free will? Sometimes I look back at my own life and look at people and say, sometimes I don't think we do have free will. I'm going to argue both sides. I'm going to argue why we don't. So I'm going to start talking about why we might not have free will. We have 2 votes saying yes, we have free will. When somebody chooses to become religious, what is the trigger for them becoming religious, right? Is it because they were born into a family of religious people? They were raised with religion around them. When they get older, they relate more to religion, so they choose to be religious. Does that mean that person freely chose to be religious? Or is it their environment that determined that? I have said, yes, of course, any decisions we make is up to us. Consequences are an external result. Love the question though. I see. So every decision we choose to make is made up by us. Consequences are external results. Love the question. So I'm going to give you a very crazy example and tell you why sometimes people argue that we don't have free will. I'm going to go into the extremes, not because I believe it, but so I can prove a point. Murder, right? When somebody commits murder, we automatically know that that's a bad thing, right? As humans, we are like, okay, we know when someone commits murder, they have done the worst and they deserve the worst penalty. Give them the most extreme penalty that they deserve, right? Now, what happens if that person who committed murder was raised in a family where they had negative influences, was brought up in an environment where murder is acceptable? In fact, it's justified based upon certain cultural experiences. For example, if you're raised in a place of gang violence and somebody has done the worst thing to your family, and then you go retaliate and kill that person in murder, do you still deserve the full punishment as somebody that wakes up one day and said, I'm going to do some bad things? Right? When we look at law, we actually look at the fact that why did this person do this heinous act? Right? This is why we have first degree murder, we have second degree murder, we have an accessory after the fact. What does that mean? It means that we actually measure the length of somebody's sentence based upon, did they know what they were doing, or did they grasp how bad the action was? And based upon how much they understand how bad the action is, it would determine the length of their sentence. So if somebody who was present at a murder, but they went there without the intention to murder, but because of an altercation, the end result was murder, they actually get a less sentence. So then if we look at free will, we can be like, okay, well, the circumstance was that it was that environment that led them to act this way. As a society, we have to punish this, so we don't condone it. But because we understand that circumstances change a person's thought process, we then give a penalty based upon those. So even in our laws, we understand that with free will, there's elements of it that we don't get to decide, right? So do you really have free will? If you are raised in an environment and you act upon the environment you are raised in and you behave in a manner that is not becoming of somebody in society, we actually look at that and say, we get it. We understand it. We don't condone it, but we understand it. So do you really have free will? That's the question. Now, again, I'm going to go back in this analogy now of religion, right? Somebody is born in a family of Christians. Their mother and their father pray all the time. Their mother and their father christen the baby. All the uncles and nieces and nephews are all Christian as well, right? They're taken to a Christian school where all their friends are Christian, right? They are learning through osmosis. They are absorbing their environment, right? Now, when they get older and choose to become a Christian, why? Do they become a Christian because of their environment, how they were raised, how they were brought up? Or did they become a Christian because they spent the time to look at their body of knowledge and say, hey, I'm going to choose this religion? Do you really choose your religion? Comment down below. I want you guys to comment. I see you watching. Do you really choose your religion, or is it based upon your environment and how you're raised? I want a comment down below. Love this. So I would say yes, still. We can decide to commit an act or not, which is free will. The conscious, so the consequences are external and out of each individual's hands. So you're saying yes. I have the X208V saying, are you gay? Some of these comments. You know what? Even if you're commenting these questionable things that are not here to help, thank you for coming to my live. You coming here actually shows YouTube that this is worth sharing. So I don't know who you are, the 2XO, but welcome to my live. We are talking about free will. So comment down below. Forget the comment about being gay that you just put in there. I know you're joking. That's why I'm not taking it seriously. So, do you really have free will? The question I am asking here is, do you really pick your religion? If you are atheist, is it because you are raised in an atheist environment? Or raised in a family that allowed you to be flexible to choose your religion? Do you really get to choose? Or is it based upon the environment you are raised in? It's a genuine question. Yes. Why the negative comments? Just enjoy good philosophical debates. I agree. I agree. We what who are you? What do we determine as you? I was watching a little discussion today and someone was saying, okay, if you lose an arm, are you still you? Now, if you lose both arms, are you you? What thing do we need to remove from you to say this person's gone? Right? Who are, what determines you? What defines the person you are? And I think for me, the answer is it's the potential that determines who you are. So if we look at a person that is passed away and a person that is sleeping, they both can't communicate. They both can't hear what you're saying. They are both unable to move. But the difference between someone who's dead and someone who's alive is that the person who is sleeping and alive but not moving has the potential to continue life and to wake up, right? So then, how do we define consciousness and how do we define um, if you really have free will? Because if who you are is based upon your potential and who you are is based upon what you are able to potentially do you have free will? Because who you are is based upon everything you have gone through in life determines who you are. So, for example, if we had the technology to download, oh, I have the X208V saying W in the chat. Thank you. W stream. We appreciate it, right? So, if you are able to move your consciousness from your brain into a computer, does that computer now have free will? And can you predict what that computer would do or think? I will say this, if you know somebody's past and you know their experiences and you know what they've been through, what they have in the past chosen, you can predict what they're going to do. If somebody is raised in a Christian family, raised with Christian values, exposed to good Christian behaviors, there is a very high likelihood chance that when they get older, they will either stay Christian or they will keep expressing Christian values, right? I would say our character. Unfortunately, we are a product of the environment we are raised and brought up in. And unfortunately, we don't get to decide. And I think that is the crux of it. We are a product of our environment. So, do you really have free will? If somebody is raised in an area of maybe, let's say, high unemployment, high poverty, and they choose to commit a crime because that is what they've been raised in, and they think that is morally good, did they make that decision with the free will that they had? So somebody who is now raised in a loving family where they don't condone violence, where they're given love and affection, and that person makes a choice to also commit violence, do they both have free will? I have the X208V saying, I like ducks. Yeah, ducks are beautiful creatures. Um, this is the thing. I think as humans, we do have free will. We have the ability to make choices. And the beauty of us having the ability to make choices means that, as you said, there are consequences that come at the end of it, right? Those consequences are real. And well, that's another debate. Why would any act? Oh, I got a lot of comments coming through now. Why would any act be considered good or bad? Hey, where are you from? Can you say my name? Uh, I have Lisa Hollow 8081. Welcome. I have Adele saying, hi, everybody. Perfect. So I have a question here. The question I have is saying, um, why would any act be considered good or bad? How do we define good or bad? I can tell you how. It's very easy. We define good or bad in many different ways. I've got a pillow here, by the way, just so you guys know. So we define good or bad based upon the metric we want to use. So if we're using the law, if we're using the law of the land, good or bad is based upon religion, especially in the West. If you live in a Western country, a lot of the laws that are put in place come from religion. If you're in America, the majority of the constitution that is given to you by your forefathers are based upon them escaping religious persecution in the United Kingdom, right? So those laws that are given to you that people have fought and died for are religious laws that have been uh, put in place based upon a religious mindset. The majority of the laws that exist today are historical laws that we still continue to have. And all the historical laws are based upon don't kill people, that's religious. Don't steal, that's religious. Don't lie. A lot of the moral things we do are based on religion, right? So we decide good or bad based upon the laws, and a lot of the laws are religious. Recently, in the last 50 years, the majority of the laws have not been about religion. They have been about morality, collective morality. So if people as a collective decide and say, hey, smoking marijuana is actually good and we want to spend money on it, what happens? We legalize marijuana. If we say, hey, you know what? Murder is really bad, but lying isn't that bad. We make murder a really bad thing, but lying, like, we get it. We use morality now to determine laws. So, what determines good or bad? It's the laws of the land based upon religion and also collective morality. What does that mean? It means that there is no wrong and there is no right. What was wrong 50 years ago is now right. Because of what? Because the question is, what metric are we using to measure right and wrong? Is there such a thing as evil in itself? Like in Latin, I think it's called, or is it Hebrew? It's called malam in se. Malam in se means evil in itself. There are some things that will never be right, right? There are some things that are never right. But even something as extreme as murder, there are some communities that justify it based upon the act the person did. So in some communities, if somebody is a murderer and killed somebody, they justify killing the murderer because it's not murder, you are killing a bad person. So it's not murder. In some communities, if somebody is a thief, they will kill the thief. And they will justify to say this is not murder, it is justice. Good or bad does not exist. good or bad is based upon the moral compass you choose to use. If you're a Christian, you have the Bible that guides you, and that is your good and bad. If you are somebody who is in an untouched part of the world where murder is acceptable, then in your head, morality wise, good and bad is determined on what that person did. If in the community you live in, it's good to kill if someone kills you, then for you that is good. So what do we consider as good and bad? The answer is there is no answer. We can't determine it or define it because there are certain things that, for example, I'm going to use alcohol. I don't drink, right? In America, if you are 20 years old and choose to drink, that is bad. You're going to jail. That is a problem. Drinking at 20 years old is illegal. It is bad. You come to the UK. You can drink at 17 years old, at 18 years old. That is good. You just took a 4-hour plane journey. The now what you did in the UK is good when you're in the UK. When you go to America, it is bad. Now you go to a country where slavery is okay. You choose to own a slave based upon the social environment that they will say, hey, what you're doing is good because you're giving these people who don't have any money some salaries, right? You're doing a good thing. You come in the West, if you do the exact same thing, it is bad, it is illegal, it's immoral. Good and bad does not exist because we don't have a unified collective mechanism on a global scale to determine what is good and what is bad. What does that mean? It means that you need to make a choice. Decide what you're going to use as a measure of good and bad. I am a Christian, so I use the Bible as the way to measure my good and my bad. Some people who are not Christian have a different measure. For example, I could view swearing as really bad. Somebody could view swearing as really good, as a way to communicate, as a way to break barriers. I have a lot of comments that I've not been looking into, so let me go back. Where are you from? I am from the United Kingdom. Um, what is your name? My name is the Know-How of Knowledge. So, welcome to my channel. Um, I have Roxy saying, hey, hey, Roxy. I have Juvila Bus Change saying, yes, exactly that. I have FFFFDDDFFF-V4G6I saying, I'm gonna I'm gonna give you one task. Show me your home tour. Not today, but thank you for the comment. I have the X208 saying say hi. I'm saying hi to you again. I have FFFDDDF saying laughing. I have the X28V saying I have to go, but will sub. Thank you for subscribing. It means a lot. I have Juvel saying, so I would like to say, as a non-religious person, it's our responsibility to ensure we bring up a society based on which religion aligns with our values the most. Oh, I'm going to talk about that. I have FFF saying, show me your home tour, show me your home tour, show me your home tour, show me your home. Wow, that's a lot of show me. I have, wow, there's a lot of comments here. Thank you for commenting, by the way, guys. I'm not doing a home tour, but I want to talk about the last comment I received that was actually constructive. And that was saying, so I would like to say, as a non-religious person, it's our responsibility to ensure we bring up a society based on which religion aligns with our values the most. What time is it? I've been recording now for 24 minutes. So if you want to timestamp this, feel free. I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic, and that is about Islam. I have friends that are Muslim who I love dearly. I have friends that have also believe in very different belief systems. Besides Islam, there's Christians, there's Hindus, there's Sikhs, there's Jews. I have friends from different religions, right? And one thing that is difficult to talk about sometimes is the fact that, as you have said, as a non religious person, it is your responsibility to ensure that you bring up a society based on which religion aligns your values. What happens when a religious belief system does not correctly align with your values? Is that religion a problem? Do we then attack that religion? I have seen a lot of religious attacks that have been happening because somebody is a representative of a religion, but that religion might not always have the exact same values that the society has. There are some religions that have family values, that have values about what a family should look like. And those, oop, am I still alive? And those values might not always marry up to what society wants. So, for example, if a religion has got Christian values or a religion has got some values where they say a family is comprised of male, female, mom, dad, right? And anything outside of that is not right. But then society is saying, hey, if you are not willing to accept other alternative views of there could be a dad and a dad, a mom and a mom, or two moms and one dad, or three dads and one mom, or whatever combination you want, if you don't accept that, then you are going against society. Then it makes it difficult to then say which religion is good for society. How do we define what religion is good for society, right? Can we define it? And that's the question. And the thing is, like, yes, I know that no matter which country you go to, a lot of the laws you will follow are based on the religion of that country, right? But again, it's like if you live in a country like the UK that is multicultural with many religions, right? Is it even possible to look at all the religions and then say, hey, if you disagree with the law of the land, you are a bad religion? Is that right to say? It's a question for you guys. I got some more comments saying it's a controversial opinion, but in terms of religion, I don't believe in diversity. Unfortunately, I can't see how a society builds unity when diversity, religion based, is a priority of a country. I have Alistair saying free will is something every person should, um, especially should have, especially be back. Wait, what? Free will is something everyone should have, especially being back people from the 1900s. Okay, so I'm guessing you're saying is that we all have free will. That's you, Alistair, saying that. Um, especially if we look at the 90s, free will is a real thing. Is that correct? I'll talk about that, Alistair. But let me first go back to the previous comment about the controversial opinion. Actually, no. Alistair, I understand your point about free will is real. If you look at the poll that is live right now, 56% of people are saying that free will does not really exist. You don't really have free will, right? So, here's a question, right? Everything you do, is it based upon a random decision you make, or is it based upon everything that you have chosen from birth until now that determines who you are? This is almost like predestination. Are you predetermined to behave and act in a certain kind of way? And I'm guessing what people are saying here is that your life is predetermined. You don't have a choice in it. And if you think you have a choice, that is also part of predestination, that you who you are is predetermined based upon your bloodline, based upon your upbringing, based upon the values that have been imposed on you, which means that you really don't get a say. Your parents are making you into one person, and that's who you're gonna be, right? Can I sub and like? Please do. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, so please subscribe, guys. My goal is December 25th. So I am now gonna go back to your topic. Thank you, Alistair, by the way, about diversity. So you were saying, Juvo, that it's a controversial opinion, but in terms of religion, I don't believe in diversity. Unfortunately, I can see how a society builds unity when diversity, religion based. So you don't see how a society can build unity when diversity, religion based diversity, is a priority of the country. So you are saying that you believe that unity is only done when a community is has the same mindset. If a community has the same mindset, the same focus, the same core fundamental beliefs or morality, that society will be better off. Is diversity a bad thing? Perhaps diversity is a bad thing if people come into an environment and do not make the effort to integrate with the laws of the land. Then diversity could be a bad thing because what you're doing is you are allowing people to enter into a society and they're not able to respect the laws of the land. One thing that I know is when you travel the world, you have to respect the laws and the customs of the land. Yes, you don't have to do things you don't want to do, but you have to respect the law of the land. What happens if the law of the land is to accept diversity? Then does any law really exist? Hmm. Are you saying then that a country needs to have a majority religion? That if a country is divided on a religious level, they cannot unite? That if a country is supporting freedom of religion and supporting that everybody should be able to just believe in whatever they want to believe in and there should not be a universal moral law or universal acceptance of right and wrong, that society can't thrive. I'll talk about the UK. The UK is a very Christian country. Historically, it's been Christian. The King Charles, is the head of the Church of England. Whenever you talk to any British person, they will talk about the fact that they can relate to Christianity. It is a religion that even atheists say probably is the closest religion to a good morality because a lot of the laws that we follow and a lot of the Christian values that are put in place are not bad. And a lot of people who now are atheists will say that as long as somebody has values that relate to the morality of the current climate, they are okay. So if you're an atheist, you want somebody to have a religion that mainly accepts your atheism. The closer somebody is to atheist beliefs and morals and is able to be flexible based upon the current laws, that is acceptable. I don't think that's right. I think we should be able to bring people around us who can challenge our beliefs. And I'm talking about that in a country level. I think we should be able to have the freedom to express the religion we want. In the Christian sense, you know what? I'm going to talk about Christianity, right? People think that Christians only want every single person to be a Christian. That is not entirely true. If we look in the Bible, we hear stories of people saying, hey, Make a choice. Are you going to choose the God of your forefathers, or are you going to choose God, Yahweh, Jehovah, right? If we look at a Christian context, Christians actually don't care what you choose to do. I know this sounds controversial. When I say care, I mean that we care about you. We care about your salvation. We care about the journey you're going to walk on. What we care more about, though, is we care more about you making a choice. What Christians or what Christianity struggles with is when people don't choose. I respect somebody who can tell me to my face to say, I have looked at Christianity and I don't choose God. I choose God. But when somebody says they have made a choice, I respect that. I don't agree with it. The person that I struggle to say, okay, I know where you sit, is somebody who doesn't know what they believe in. Somebody who isn't sure of are they believing or not believing. For me, it's when somebody isn't able to make a choice in terms of what they believe in, that is when I really worry. So diversity is good, but diversity is good when people have a black and white answer. When people have a gray answer, that is when it's difficult. That's why I made this channel. Let's talk about the gray so you can make an answer. You can say, yes, I'm a Christian. Or yes, I am gonna stay an atheist. Or yes, you know what, I'm gonna stay Muslim. Or yes, I am gonna stay Jewish. We've had people who have said I am gay, transgender, bisexual, Jewish, Christian, atheist. I've had so many people all my life tell me their beliefs. And this is why I sometimes think if we go back to free will, it's 50-50. Half the things you do, it's not your will. I'm gonna go back. It's not the opposite of unity. I have Alice to say, and if you think um 1 second, there we go. If you think in historian, then the free will was not a lasting thing, but now is free will show we can let our feelings go free. Okay, so just trying to understand. Oh, Max is here. I have Max. Oh, you changed your name now to Max. Welcome, Max. Thank you very much. Hey, bro, it's me, Max. I can see you've changed your YouTube name now. Welcome back, Max. Of course, I remember you. Come on, you come here every day, so welcome back. Alice is saying, I watched your channel and saw the vid today, or live. I don't know. Please subscribe. Really appreciate Alistair. I have I do support Christian values, and about atheism, I think that's delusional because whatever you believe in, your reason to live, that's your religion, even if it's your own unique religion. Thank you for that. Um, I will see you in a sec, mate. Thank you. I have an emoji saying "say hi." I'm saying hi to you. Just what's your name? It's just like an I drop #1 and a lot of a different script. I have Apex saying hi. Hold on, Apex, Apex and Max. Are you the same person? Cause Apex. Listen, I'm did you make a new channel, Apex? And you're watching me twice on two different accounts? Because I see the same face. Anyway, let me go back. So, Alistair, so in terms of an historical account, if we look at history, free will did not exist in terms of if you were in the UK in the 1900s in World War II, you were a Christian. No, wrong question. It wasn't you are a Christian. It's everybody is Christian. Just what type of Christian are you? It was not are you a Christian. Free will did not exist. The free will you had to decide is how much of a Christian were you, not are you a Christian, right? If I'm going to talk about something a little different and it will summarize this a little bit, right? and this is osmosis. I have written a book, and chapter 21, which is my final chapter of my book, is called Osmosis. If you want to buy my book or look at my book, you know what, actually, on Amazon, you can search my name and you will see my book, and you can actually read a sample of my book. If you read the sample and look at the last chapter of my book, chapter 21, I think that's page 170 something, I talk about osmosis. And in that, I basically say that the majority of the choices you make are not based upon you. A lot of the choices you make are based upon two factors: where you physically live and the people you choose to surround yourself with, right? So, if you surround yourself with people who are negative, people who don't want to ever do good in their lives, people who, when bad things happen, it actually reinforces a negative mindset, you will become negative. You will become the kind of person who, when bad things happen, your default will be to accept that and say, you know what, everything around me is bad, so my life will never amount to nothing. If you come from a family that has historically been preaching that you will never amount to nothing, change your location. And I guarantee you, you will change how you see the world. If you know what, I'm going to say this. I would say that half of the choices you make, you don't get to decide. For example, if you choose to follow God, do you really choose to follow God? Does anybody really choose to follow God? Because the Bible clearly says, nobody comes to the Father unless the Father calls me, draw him. Jesus is saying, nobody can even come to God unless God says, I want you. You who are watching now, I want you, Max. Yes, I know you're in the chat, Max. God is like, hey, I want Max. So then, if you choose to go to God, it's not you deciding, it is God saying, I want you to come to me because I want you to be my disciple. Nobody comes to the Father unless the Father calls me, draw him. In a Christian context, you coming to God is not your choice, it is God choosing you. But then God says, behold, I come at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice, and open, I will come in. So that means that as a Christian, if you the desire to want to know about God comes from God, not from you, but you have free will. The free will is to say, okay, I hear God calling me, but I can say no. So the choice to follow God is 50% God and 50% you. So you don't have free will in terms of that desire, because the desire to want to do good doesn't come from you, it comes from God. But then, now that God has given you the desire to do good, now you can say, okay, now I have this desire, what am I going to decide? So you do have a decision, you do have free will. I'm going to conclude and say an answer. You have free will. But understand that the free will you have is to make a choice based upon the cards you've been given. Oftentimes, you don't have the free will to decide the cards you are given. And sometimes you are given the cards of religion, and you have the free will to say no. 59% of people say you don't have free will. So the answer is yes and no. You don't have free will to decide where you're born. You don't have free will to decide if you choose to come to God, because that is God who decides that for you. And then it's you now who decide to say, okay, God's calling me. Am I going to accept it? And the beauty of being a Christian is that all you gotta do is say yes and watch. And now you have given your free will to God and say, hey, God, I am choosing my free will to give my life to you. Now show me who you are. And then you will clearly see that, okay, you have free will, you give free will away, then you get. So the answer is it's in the middle. Does free will exist? Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that you do get a say. No, in the fact that before you get a say, everything that happens beforehand, you don't really get a say in. You only get a say at a moment. Not everything in your life that happens to you, you get a say in. I agree as a whole. However, I think this is a journey we go on. To think that we do indeed um, dictate our life goes, no matter some circumstance. I agree. I think that it's impossible to always decide how you want your life to be and the journey you're going to go on. Not everything you are is you. Not everything you decide is based upon what you chose to do. Yes, you need to take accountability for your choices. But this is where, for me, I think I really fight some people. Some people are born victims. There are people who think, you know what? I did not get to choose. I don't have free will. So I'm going to accept that I don't have free will and accept that I'm a bad person. So then they go through life being a victim. Somebody who is not a victim does this. They say this: I don't have free will in some elements of my life, right? But now I understand that I don't have free will. What elements do I have free will in? And they focus on that. A victim is someone who focuses on, I don't have free will, so I give up. A survivor, Ellie said this 3 days ago. A survivor is somebody who says, okay, what areas of my life do I have a say in, and focuses on those. Or when bad things happen, you can say, okay, bad things are happening. There has to be some things I can decide. You can decide where to eat. You can decide when to sleep. You can decide how to react when bad things happen. So maybe you don't have free will when bad things happen to you, but now that the bad has happened to you, what are you going to choose to do? That is the free will element of it. So, no, you don't have free will because bad things can happen to you and you don't choose them. But now the bad has happened. What are you going to choose to do? That is the free will. So, yes, you do have free will to a point. Please subscribe, guys. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by December 25th. This is your gift to me. I don't celebrate Christmas, but this can be your Christmas gift to me. So give me this gift. Subscribe to my channel. And my goal is to hit 100 subscribers. The aim of this channel is actually to hit 500 followers, because at that point we can do super chats. This channel is being created so that we are able to have an open conversation. And you know what? I'm not gonna end it here. I'm gonna ask you guys, what should I talk about tomorrow? Comment down below. I want you guys to tell me my topic for tomorrow. I had a topic yesterday about oceans and Mother Nature, and do we really have an effect on this world? So comment down below. What should I post tomorrow? I'm gonna wait. I am not gonna leave this live until somebody tells me tomorrow's topic. Tell me, what should I post tomorrow? I want to know, what should I post tomorrow? Come on, guys. I'm waiting here. Just one comment. I'm gonna wait. What topic should I talk about tomorrow? I've spoken about anti-Semitism. I've spoken about religion. I've spoken about free will. I want to comment. What should I post about tomorrow? I see you guys watching. I'm gonna wait right here. What should I talk about tomorrow? Comment down below. Come on, Juvo. Come on, Apex. I see you guys watching. Come on, Max. What should I talk about tomorrow? Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. You know what? Tomorrow, let me get your name right. Juvel Bus. Energy as in feelings. Okay, fine. I'm gonna screenshot this, and tomorrow I am gonna talk about this. I am going to go live at exactly 12:05 tomorrow, not at 6 p.m. or 10 p.m. So at 12:05 in the daytime. So after the morning, after so just noon. So noon tomorrow, come back and we're going to talk about energy. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted. Energy in feelings. So if you come tomorrow, I'm going to talk to you about energy, how it cannot be destroyed, but it can only be converted. So thank you. I asked for a topic and you gave it. So thank you very much, Juvo, for commenting below. So if you come tomorrow, we are going to talk about energy, how it cannot be destroyed, but only converted, and energy as in feelings, about what energy do you want to give out there? What energy do you want to receive? Comme si, comme ça, yin yang, karma, all that stuff. We'll discuss tomorrow. Just to finish off, for you guys who are watching this that are not live, this live stream has received 17 votes on the question, do you really have free will? 41% are saying yes, you have free will. 59% are saying no, you don't have free will. So, Juvo, I expect to see you tomorrow at 12. And if you can't show up at 12, that's fine. You can watch it afterwards. But please subscribe, guys. I am trying to hit 100 subscribers by Christmas. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you tomorrow. Peace.